I am Jazmynn, the Chief Director of Entrepreneurial Growth and Innovation at the Progress Center for Black Women. And here we have today is Michelle Soames-Boer from the Small Business Development Center. Today is August 5th. So what we're going to be doing today is just asking Michelle some questions about the Small Business Development Center and the services that they provide in order to support entrepreneurs in the area. So Michelle, if you don't mind introducing yourself for me.
No, not at all, Jazmynn. So I'm Michelle Soames-Boer. I'm the director of the Small Business Development Center at UW-Madison. The Small Business Development Center is actually a national program that was established 44 years ago. It was actually Wisconsin Senator Gaylord Nelson who wrote the legislation for it, which is pretty cool. So we have deep Wisconsin roots. There are small business development centers in every single state. And in the state of Wisconsin, we have centers located at almost all of the four-year universities and a couple folks that are just throughout the state. So our job is to provide no-cost consultation to help businesses start and grow. And then what's unique about our Madison Center is that we also provide non-credit courses that follow the life cycle of an entrepreneur. So we have startup, we have management, and then we have leadership classes.
Perfect, thank you. And then Michelle also helps run and organize programming around the Upstart program. So I don't know if you'd want to give a little spiel about that. But I am also looking forward to coming into Upstart on September 10th for the first class of the fall for 2024 and kind of talking about the Progress Center and how Upstart and the Progress Center have also worked with each other. So if you don't mind, Michelle, telling us a little bit about Upstart.
Yeah, so the Upstart program was established 10 years ago by the Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation, so WARF, in conjunction with the city of Madison. And the Small Business Development Center was brought along to provide all of the instruction and the curriculum for the program. So this is a 10-week program. It is no cost. It is targeted specifically for women and people of color to provide access to entrepreneurship education. There are over 500 graduates of the program. Jazmynn's one of the graduates of that program. And what we're there to do is really provide education, access, and opportunity to folks. So you apply for a slot once you get accepted. The course meets on Tuesday evenings for 2.5 hours. You're provided parking and dinner is provided. And what we're really there to do is help you explore your entrepreneurship idea and then get you to the right place for the next steps. So it kind of gives you a really broad overview of all the key things that you should be talking about or thinking about when starting a business. So it's not only just through this concept of business planning, but we talk about marketing, we talk about accounting, we talk about financing your business. We do talk about nonprofits or social entrepreneurship, which I think is important. We have a little pitch night. And it's really just to kind of get you acclimated to what you need to do to be thinking about starting a business. Once you're finished with the program, you're never finished with the program because you become part of the alumni group. And then every fall, there's a lovely dinner that WARF puts on that brings everybody back together again. So you get to network and meet with people who've been through the program. You know, maybe it was 5 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. And we've seen so many things flourish out of that program. So the Progress Center is a big part of helping Upstart recruit for new classes and getting the word out about that program as well.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for that explanation about Upstart. So yes, Upstart is also another resource that we will refer a lot of entrepreneurs who come to us seeking out business development resources. So Upstart has definitely been a good partner of ours in addition to Small Business Development Center. So we truly appreciate that partnership. So Michelle, what would people reach out to you for, and what does the process look like? How can they get in contact with you? Those kinds of things.
Yeah, so it's fairly simple. If you're interested in starting a business or you have a business that you're looking to grow and you're looking for assistance, you can reach out to us via our website. We've got a request for consultation form. And so you fill out the form that creates a confidentiality agreement between you and us. So that means whatever you tell us in those meetings is held confidential, and we can't talk about it with anyone, even if you're referred to by the Progress Center, for example, without your explicit permission. And then typically what happens is in that form, you're going to ask for something, right? So you're going to say, I'm looking to find out the following things. Our process is to reply with an email, and we may send you some information first. We may send you a startup packet. We may send you a link to our first steps class. We might ask you additional questions. And then you can always look at those materials and then circle back around. But what we're trying to do is get you the quickest information first. So just expect that the first step is an email back with key information. And then once you've got a chance to look that over, then you might say like, I really just want to sit down and talk with somebody. That's no problem. Then we'll schedule you to work with one of the people that does consulting in our office. So I am the director of the center, and I also see clients, but we also have 3 other people that see clients in our office, in addition to our program staff of 2. So it typically takes, once you send in your request for consultation, it's usually less than 2 business days before you hear back from us. And then you'll get, if you need an appointment, you'll probably be able to find a slot within a week to 2 weeks. And we'll do a Zoom call, we'll do in person, we'll do a phone call, whatever works best for you and whatever your preference happens to be. That initial meeting, you'll come in with your idea or whatever it is that your concerns are, and then we'll sit down and try to prioritize what our next steps look like. Like I said, the consultation is no cost to you, but we have a lot of requests every year. We see over 500 consulting clients a year. So what we try to do is send you away with some homework, right? So these are the things we both agree that you're going to work on. And then if you've got questions or whatever, you're welcome to email us. And then once those things are complete, we'll have the next meeting, and then we'll keep going from there until we've sort of resolved whatever the issues may be. We may recommend a class to you simply because that might be a more efficient way for you to learn. We may request that you complete some work product before we see each other again. And typically the time between appointments is somewhere around 3 to 5 weeks, just depending. Everyone has busy lives, and we're all excited about it. We think, oh yeah, for sure we can get that section of a business plan written in a week. We all know that that's probably not going to happen. So we try to make sure that we give enough time that you can actually get the work done, and then we can keep moving on. The great thing about our services is we're not a one and done service. So it's not like you get your one appointment and then you're gone. We have people that have been working with us for literally years. It's just what they need changes, right? So.
Absolutely, yes. And Michelle was actually the mastermind who taught me how to present the business model canvas to our entrepreneurs as well. So that's been a super helpful tool. And just overall having Michelle as a resource to refer people to, or to even ask questions on our end as well, so we can be a better resource for our entrepreneurs as well too. All righty. So can you talk a little bit more about just some of the services at SBDC for entrepreneurs, and kind of dive into what the first steps to starting a business tool looks like and how that can be of help to entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so this is a class we created in our office because we realized that like when you first get that idea of like, I want to start a business, it's a little scary, right? So, and you're not quite sure who to reach out to, and you're not really sure how to even talk about that idea in the beginning. So First Steps is a free self-paced online course. It's available 24/7, right? You just go in, you don't have to put in a lot of extra information. It's just your name, your email address, and then where you're from, not your address, but like I'm, from Madison or whatever. If you're from Wisconsin, we ask that you put what county, just because we track that to try to understand who's using the course. Once you get into the class, it has 3 different sections: entrepreneurial mindset, your idea, and then funding your business. So we start with entrepreneurial mindset so that people can really understand, what is it like to own a business? Like, what are you thinking about? What are some of the things you have to be concerned about? The course has click, slide, select kind of options. So as you're reading it, it's interactive with you. We also have a full set of videos that come from entrepreneurs, actual Madison-based entrepreneurs that you can watch. So you could watch all of them. You could pick somebody that's really resonating with you. So that's interesting. There's worksheets that you can download. So if you're the kind of person that wants to write out some things, you can do that. And then at the end of each section, there's a quiz. After you've taken all 3 sections, the quiz scores and says to you like, hey, based on what you're telling us, you either fall into one of 2 categories. And one category is you're really early, and we would recommend the following things, and then we're going to give you some resources there. Like, this is a brand new idea for you. You really need to think this through a little bit more, maybe do some research. The second bucket is really, hey, based on what you're telling us, I think you're ready to do some actual planning where we're going to maybe put some numbers, start working toward making this more of a reality. So just kind of helps you gauge the stage where you're at, because this is new for a lot of people. If you've never thought about owning a business, like you don't really understand what it might take to fully own a business. Just so you can get an idea about the success of this class, we launched it in 2018. It has been taken by over 6,500 people around the world. A free online class like this, you would expect about, single digits to complete it, like kind of, 4 to 6% of people to actually complete the class. We have a 45% completion rate on this class, which means most people who start the class like finish it all the way through. And we're really proud of that because that really sets you up for success. And what we love about it is we know you're busy, people have families and full-time jobs. And so you can go in and out of this class. We've had people that have told us they've taken it over the course of 2 and 3 months. We've had people that have sat down and taken it, immediately and finished the whole thing, which will take you a couple of hours if you don't do all the worksheets and watch all the videos. So it's really sort of a choose your own adventure. And then we've had people that have said, I took it, I realized I wasn't ready, and then I took it again later, which I also love because it's kind of going back to a trusted resource. So that's one of the first things if you're thinking about starting up a business that I would recommend that you do. The second thing is we've got something called the Entrepreneurial Training Program. We've been doing this class in conjunction with the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for several years. I mean, almost 20. It is a $1,000 course that walks you through business planning in a really robust way. The cool thing about it is it costs you $250 up front to register. And then as long as you complete the course and the required workbook, which is scored. So you turn it into us and it's scored to say, like, were you completing your answers? And as long as you meet the minimum score, Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation pays the rest of the fee. So that's a really, really cool way to be able to take a robust business planning. The cool thing about this workbook is if you're starting a really micro business, like let's say you're a really good baker and you want to bake and sell something at a farmer's market, the workbook is pretty much all you'd need. But let's say you're somebody that wants to maybe, make a food product that you want to put in grocery stores, so you want to scale this up and have it be larger. That workbook, all the answers in the workbook fit nicely into an actual business plan. So it's just a really good entry point to get you thinking about all the things that you need. And then it goes from there into a business plan. The third thing that we've done recently, which we're really proud of, is we've launched an accounting and projections clinic and created a free online tool to help you understand projections. So the accounting and projections clinic is run by Ann Inman in our office. Ann's a former CPA. We hire UW-Madison, Wisconsin School of Business students as interns. If you have got the business plan done, but you're struggling to complete the projections, you can apply to be in the accounting and projections clinic, and we're going to ask you to come in with all your materials ready to go, and then we will help you construct all of the key financial statements that you're needed to go for funding. So profit and loss statement, cash flow statement, source and use of funds, balance sheet, all of that will be created, and we're going to help you understand what those numbers are so you can present that to a lender. So there's no cost on that. We established that with funds that we received from a community projects funding through the federal government. So it was Congressman Mark Pocan that sponsored this along with Tammy Baldwin. So we're really excited about that. The second part of that project was we created a free online class called A Beginner's Guide to Financial Projections. So lots of people are, you know this, Jazmynn, like lots of people think they're really bad at math or they're really scared by the numbers. And we thought, there's a gap here between business planning, like being able to say it in words and then actually say it in numbers. So we wrote this class, and again, free, self-paced, online, very much like our First Steps class, so that you could sit down and learn how to think about financial projections. Like, how do I gather the information? What information is necessary? What does it look like? What are the formats that it needs to be in? What are all these terms people keep telling me? I need a profit and loss statement, or, I need a balance sheet. So this course walks you through all of the key financial statements. It has a workbook so that as you're going through the class, we signal you to start thinking about your own business. So you're starting to collect the data in the workbook. It also has 2 case studies we wrote. So one is a food business and one is a childcare business, so that you can understand how 2 different types of businesses might approach gathering this information. So all through the course, these cases are popping up and they're talking about how they went about getting the information. And then at the very end, you can see all of their financials pulled together so that you can, really understand what that looks like. In addition, we give you lots of resources in this class if you take it. So we've got 2 financial templates in there. So if you want to try doing this on your own, you absolutely can. And they're user-friendly templates. One of them, we collaborated with our Small Business Development Center at the University of Georgia, Savannah. They had a template that we liked, and we reached out to them and said, could you help us make this fit with this class? And they were super gracious and did that. So that's available to you. So you've got lots of different ways to get an education around how do I do a financial projection. And we've really taken a lot of that business speak and made it into real language, so that normal people can understand it. I think that's a challenge sometimes when people start talking in those business terms and those are brand new to you and you don't know them. It gets confusing. And also some things have multiple names, so we wanted to make sure that it was easy for everybody. So those are sort of the startup suite of products that we offer, and the pricing. So some of the things are no cost, and if you have a lower fee to them, but that really can set you up for a startup business. I also wanted to define what a startup business is. This is either I'm not in business or I've been in business, maybe I've done something for a year, or but I really never did any planning. I hadn't needed any funding. Maybe I was experimenting with my business. So those are still in the startup realm, that first couple of years, and it can still be really helpful to take classes and learn as when you're in those early stages.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. And we've had quite a few people in our network come to us in regards to financial projections and the whole financial piece of it. So I feel like the training that they have is very vital and essential for people who may need help with that area of running a business. So that is perfect. Do you mind talking a little bit about that 800 small business answer line number and how that works?
So we have had in the an 800 number where people can call and get quick questions answered. That number is now being run by our statewide network, and it's staffed during business hours. And you can call and they'll answer and be able to talk to you if you've got a quick question. A lot of times they're going to refer you to the local center, and if you need more help or you need something a little bit more in depth. We're always here for questions as well. So like once you've signed up to work with us, don't feel like you're ever bothering us or you can't ask a question, because that's really what our jobs are. It's just to be able to make things easier for y'all. We also understand that, people might have different work schedules and not be quite as available during the day. So email works really good for those things as well.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. All righty. So I think you touched on this a bit, but do you mind talking just a little bit about some of like the webinars and workshops, classes that you guys offer throughout SBDC?
Yeah. So really excited about our programming because that's a little something that's different. So as I said, they follow the life cycle of an entrepreneur. So the startup, we talked about, the first steps, entrepreneurial training program, and then our beginner's guide to financial projections. The next section of courses are really our management classes. So you've made it through, you started the business, and now you have to figure out how to run it. And so we have 2 levels of financial management courses. There is a fee there are fees for those courses. We try to keep our fees as reasonably priced as possible. The financial management class, the introduction class, is a really good first kind of entry point, because it talks about record keeping and getting yourself organized and understanding what you need an accountant for and what you don't need an accountant for. It really walks you through those financial statements again and helps you understand what are these things and why would I want them and how do I look at them and why is the bank asking me for them. We've worked really hard again at bringing down the business speak so that when people are in that class, they can ask anything and nothing feels off limits. Because I know if you're not really good at something, sometimes it's hard to ask a question and feel comfortable about it. And so we really know that that's where the people that are taking that class are coming from. So we try to make that as comfortable as possible. That class is online and it's live virtual. So you'll meet at a specific time on a specific day, but via Zoom. The intermediate financial management class is an in-person class, and that's more in depth. So really the person that's operated their business 5, 6, 7 years, that's really looking to kind of maximize the use of those financial statements, that's most appropriate there. So we're going to talk about budgeting, using financial ratios, that sort of thing. We have a class that's an all-day class, HR for non-HR people, which is really great if you're planning on hiring people. It covers everything from, the law to good record keeping around your employees to questions not to ask and to ask during interviews, that sort of thing. So that's one of the courses we have. And then every semester we do a digital and social media conference. It's one of my favorites because our program manager, Heather Ferguson, works really hard at changing it up every semester. So we bring you 3 to 5 speakers on sort of the latest trends. So you could go to that class literally every semester and it's going to be different, and it kind of helps keep you up to date because, anytime you try to do anything with digital marketing, it changes so quickly. It's hard to keep up. So in the last few years, we've taught we've taught about TikTok, we've taught about AI, trying to keep people up to date on what they might be able to do. And then our last set of classes are really leadership courses, and we focus on emerging leadership. So we have a great class called Launch into Leadership. This is a perfect class for somebody that's maybe never had to lead a staff of people. Like, what are those basic first line skills? It also works for you to send employees to those classes, because let's say you had somebody that was an employee and now they're supervising their former coworkers. That's a great option. We've got classes where we talk about communication skills and just getting to know your style better. What's really great about our leadership classes is entrepreneurs can sit alongside people from larger companies that are trying to send some of their early stage leaders there. So we've got lots of well-known local companies that send folks to those classes, which I think makes for a really rich experience. And the great thing about that is they're also great for helping employee retention. So let's say you've got somebody and maybe your business is just growing and you can't give them the kind of raises that maybe you'd want to. You can at least provide them with some professional development along the way as your business is growing, and they can stick with you. So again, those courses are a mix of in-person, hybrid, online, so a little something for everybody. And we have a pretty set core catalog, and then we'll rotate in, various topics. Which brings me to, we have a Forward Fest presentation coming up we have a couple of them. One is called Demystifying the Pro Forma. So it's really about understanding your financial statements. And we've got another one about AI that we're talking about, because we're really excited about getting entrepreneurs, small businesses, to understand how they can lever AI to help them. So those are both free, but you have to sign up for the Forward Fest Pass, and then you can go ahead and attend either one of those classes. So we try to every semester do several free things too. We also have a really great class on how to hire a badger, because people call us up and say, how do I get a UW student to work in my business? And it can seem kind of daunting because there's some software and different things. So we have a great class on you can't just hire a student and think it's going to work out. So we talk about like how to set a job description, how to onboard a student, and then how do you navigate the UW handshake system, and do I want to hire an intern or do I want an employee? So what does that look like?
Wow, I just learned a couple new things as well. You guys offer quite a lot. That's really amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
And yes, and Forward Fest is also a really good resource. So I highly recommend entrepreneurs, whatever you're doing, to definitely take part in Forward Fest, which this year will be the week of August 19th through the 23rd of 2024. So definitely look forward to that, as well as SBDC being there and offering a couple of courses as well too. Perfect. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up with one more question, and that will be, what has been your experience overall just partnering with us at the Progress Center, and how has that looked like for SBDC?
Yeah, so I've known Sabrina and now Jazmynn for quite a while, and I would say we're delighted to be able to do more community outreach. And so when the Progress Center was formed, we kind of jumped right in with them and said, "What do you need, and how can we work together?" And then I really enjoy being invited to Progress Center events because it's great networking, to meet with folks that are using the Progress Center, and then to see where the synergies are. I think that the Progress Center does a really good job of making a comfortable space where learning and exploration of your business idea is really at the forefront. And Jazmynn, you mentioned earlier that, I taught you how to do the business model Canvas so you could teach it to other people. And that was, it was one of those aha moments we all had. And I was like, why am I teaching this when I think you guys could do this too? So, and I love the fact that now we have more people that know how to teach it, so we can spread that tool around the community a little bit more. So we're always glad Jazmynn sent a referral over to our office. I had one in my inbox this morning when I came into work. So we're always happy to see like where the gaps fill, right? Like somebody needs something, and we can call each other and figure out how to get the help somebody needs. And so for me, it's really great having a relationship with folks that are just there to try to do their best to get people to where they need to be. We like to meet, I think both SBDC and Progress Center, we all like to meet people where they're at, and then give them what they need. So it's been a good experience.
Perfect. I will have to agree again. Michelle has been an amazing resource for not only us, but for entrepreneurs. And SBDC just has lots of different things to offer for business owners. So definitely check them out. Reach out to Michelle and her team if you guys need any assistance with getting your business up and running, or if you have any questions in the midst of figuring things out. So thank you again, Michelle, for taking the time to do this Q&A session. This is super helpful. And I hope this can reach a lot of entrepreneurs in our network so that they can get in tune with Small Business Development Center. So thank you again for this.
Yeah, thanks so much for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Perfect. All righty. I was going to let it run a few seconds.